So, dear colleagues, we're happy to welcome you here in our media center where we have a series of press conferences. We are at Kazan Expo. I'm Sergei Krasnov. I'm the MC of RBK. And before I announce the topic of the press conference, and give some information about the press conference. I'll give you some introduction. We have online broadcasting, so if you want, you can join the online broadcasting, and there are some cameras in the halls. And first of all, I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. I have a pool of questions myself, and if you have an incentive to ask questions to our speakers, experts, you will be given the floor. You'll be given the microphone, and I'd like to ask you to introduce yourself and ask whom the question is addressed to. So this is the procedure we are going to adhere. And this press conference is devoted to development of cooperation in the field of pharmaceutics between Russia and the countries of the Islamic world. I'd like to introduce the speaker. This is Denis Vinokurov, Director for International Development and Communication in Hemrar Group of Companies. Thank you for coming. It's great. Today, here we have Nikita Punia, the Executive Director of Pharmaceuticals Company. Salmir Elghi, Director General of Pharmaceutical Company Galenica, Kingdom of Morocco, and Munawar Mamedi, Director of B Medical and Pharma, Turkey. So I'd like to start with the first question. Denis Vadimovich, this is a question to you. Please, could you tell me, as for Russian pharmaceutics, what is it interesting for our Oriental partners, and what can we gain from our partners? What are the interests of them in Russian? Dear colleagues, thank you for the question. From the moment we approved the first strategy of development of pharmaceutical industry, Pharma 2020, you know, Pharma 2030 has been approved by now already, but starting from 2020, our pharmaceutics has managed to open a very good modern production, and we can now compete with the global competitors by the quality, and our medical preparations are safe. At the same time, we provide prices which our partners like, and they are also suitable for the distribution chains. And in such a way, Russia is the so-called golden middle of high quality at the modern prices and high respect that Russian pharmaceutical industry has managed to gain is famous from the times of the Soviet Union, and we are improving our quality while Russian market players move forward to international markets. And we just not only reproduce the traditional, produce and reproduce traditional pharmaceutics and drugs, but we have also such companies as Himrar, which develops innovation pharmaceutics, and we have a great interest to our original drugs in Latin America, Southeast Asia, and in the countries of the Islamic world, in the Middle East, in Africa, in some Asian countries. And for us, the countries of the Islamic world are of great interest, not only from the point of view of opportunities to implement to sell our pharmaceutics in the local and regional markets, but from the point of view of an opportunities for cooperation in the field of science and research in pharmaceutics. And there are such countries as Iran, Egypt, Indonesia, and some other countries like Saudi Arabia, which already have very strong pharmaceutics oriented to advanced methods of therapy of the future. Thus, we have a large potential to cooperate with such countries and to create various research centers, screening centers at all the stages of pharmaceutical innovative developments. We can organize cooperation at various stages, at the initial stages, later stages, and do the job for our market and foreign market as well. And thus we are saving time and providing our patients not simply with just everyday needs, but we can well cope with these tasks. But we also cooperate, taking the in consideration of the future and taking in consideration various needs of the future, where we have to improve our innovative potential, which is also linked to our expert activities that we are currently implementing. And both business and governmental agencies are now working at overcoming various obstacles, and we are successful in overcoming these things. And Nikita Vikramovich, I'd like to give you the floor, the token. He is the executive director of pharmaceuticals. So I'll have the following question. According to you, is there any sense for such a large country as Russia to quickly organize large spectrum of pharmaceutics itself, and not taking the experience of the foreign countries, or whether globalization has already won? I mean, should we take the experience of the foreign countries, and it's just a waste of time to make our own developments? Because the health of the nation is the key aspect, but here we should make a proper strategic choice that will bring us success in the remote future.
Could you specify it? So, yeah, I know that like your business is a very um, refined place, so that is why I'm trying to cover all these questions in one thing. So, answering to these questions, if we use more direct strategies, so it goes without saying that to produce a pharmaceutics is a must. So there is no need like to export in Russian Federation, as some drugs that have no patent, so they should be produced in every country. But when we talk about innovative drugs, medicines, so they are protected by the patent on its production, so that helps every pharmaceutical company to improve their products. And generics, they are well tested for decades, like 30, 50 years, and they definitely help to cure different diseases. So people already know like the purposes of it. So they're of great importance, and every country should produce these medicines. So we in Russia have understood it for a long time ago. So that's why we have two strategies. So first of all, there are two strategic ways. So the first one is Pharma 2020, which was focused on substitution of imported drugs. And Pharma 2030 is giving us an urge to develop innovative drugs. and to export Russian pharmaceutical industry to the global world. So, and the question is like, what should be substituted, imported substitution? So, if the requirements for this product is like 1,000 packs a year, so for over the whole country, so if it is located in a small, relatively small country, not as big as Russia, so where only 3 million people live there, so their necessities are not financially big enough, so it won't be very profitable because the cost of the production, it would cost about $3 million, and $30,000 would be the capacity of the market. So of course, some products, some drugs, that would be imported, and by all means it should be provided because it's much more profitable than to make your own enterprise. And the market of Russia is relatively big, and there are many countries where import substitution hasn't been implemented completely, as Russia now it's like on the edge of it, as our pharmaceutical industry is growing quite rapidly. So some countries have just started their way, as we see a great aspire to the northern Africa, like Algeria or Turkey. For the last 10, 15 years, they're working on it for a long time. And Iran, for instance, as they are under sanctions, so some system of healthcare, so they provide this import substitution by their requirements and demands of the markets, as they need to have like provide these vital medicines for population. And we should be able to produce very like basic drugs, basic medicines, while some innovative medicines will be imported no matter whether sanctions or not sanctions there. As it is said, so medicines should be out of sanctions, and if this situation happens so that sanctions, it's like some drugs are under sanctions, so it's breaking the human rights. So, and it's really interrogates with the logics of it. So it is very important that we talk about human rights, but as well we faced with the sanctions against animals, like medical feeds for animals, so no one even think about it. Speaking about human rights, well, in this case, animal rights are very, very like unattended, I would say. So that's why I would say that companies should provide this import substitution, but as well they need to think about further development of innovative medicines, so to be on the edge of progress on international markets. So, and why do we need export? We need to present and provide an opportunity for other markets to buy our products, our medicines, as Russian quality is of very high standards. It's very important that this is a great platform that gives, well, if we present our medicines on different markets, it gives a kind of platform. And when we start an innovative medicines as the group of company pharmaceuticals, it is presented from 2012. So, and from 2017, we already provide some innovative drugs. So, as a platform, what we do now as pharmaceutical companies, they really use a long-term approaches to work on markets. As we have like 5 years of work, so it would save up some 5 years of working at the places. So that is why it's all coincides. And I would say that our development would have a certain geometrical progression there. Well, you cannot do that within a year, but you will see the results. But I would say that in shorter terms, we really achieved some results that haven't been provided for these 20 years. So, and the floor is given to El Girmay Salim, General Director of the pharmaceutical company Galenica, Kingdom of Morocco. And the question is, how is your company dependent on foreign materials? And have you studied the experience of Russia that was cut from the supply of products from different countries and some important parts, ingredients of these medicines? So, and what outcomes did you come with?
1978 in Morocco. And since the early 60s, Morocco has developed a strategy for the local manufacturing of pharmaceuticals to ensure the therapeutic independence of Morocco towards medicines, and this was in order to support health in Morocco and development of Morocco. Of course, the market of Morocco is very small, and the whole Africa represents only 2.3% of the consumption of drugs in the whole world. So we are talking about very small markets. But even though Morocco is a small market, we've been able to be successful in Morocco, and we have developed a really appreciable, satisfying expertise in the development of pharmaceuticals and the manufacturing of pharmaceuticals that enables us today to reach other countries and to export, as we are present in more than 20 countries outside Morocco, and most of them are African French-speaking countries, and also, of course, also some Arabic sister countries. But at the same time, thinking about the raw materials, that was your question. Raw materials were at the beginning manufactured in, I'm talking about APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, were manufactured in Europe and in the US. And we have seen this production transferred gradually year after year towards China and India, according to new regulations for environment. And most of the time, you can see that the owners of these companies are still European or American companies or mixed companies with local investors. So for me, it's difficult to consider local manufacturing of APIs in Morocco, because the Morocco market is very small, and we have a very severe environment regulations that will not allow local manufacturing of APIs. So for Morocco, as for all the countries, we are more and more depending on the supply of APIs coming from India and from China. And I think it's less a problem than depending for finished products. So for me, it's not really a big issue for us.
Thank you very much. So the next question will be asked to Munawar Manedi. She's the director of Biomedical Pharma. Could you please tell us what are innovations that you've managed to introduce within the last years, and what are you working at now? And the most important part of my questions is whose help would be of great importance for you. I'm happy to see everyone here. Thank you for your question. Biomedical and Pharma is a company producing in Turkey, Istanbul, and Turkey itself has a very large production ground for producing pharmaceuticals. And in Turkey, I'm not speaking about pharmaceutical companies, I'm speaking about the production. And in Turkey, 785 production facilities exist. And for Turkey, it's of great importance to develop innovation technologies, targeted therapy, and those preparations. We have genetically new molecules as the core of the drug. And as far as the COVID period and the following years have shown, is that Turkey is well, covering the demand in Turkey itself. And they also have certain issues related to provision of pharmaceuticals, but within the 3 years, the government of Turkey focused great attention to this business and to equipment of the large-scale industries. And we have a park now, technological park, analogous to Skolkovo, and we spent $253 million to support various projects. In the previous year, we have 148 patents for biotechnologies and 20 innovative companies. These are innovative companies of a new generation, and thanks to that, we are focusing on launching production with a high level of GMP of international level, and actually the closed cycle production. Insulin, diabetes, ampoules, and we have separate pharmaceutical production plants which produce very high quality drugs for cancer curing, and Bristol Myers, some other companies are involved. And today Turkey is a very good ground for many countries. And as we have already mentioned, there are some producers which come to us and ask to produce small batches of production in order to test the drugs and for their compliance, the compliance of their composition to the standards. And what a help could this forum provide? As our colleagues say, we have a common ground for communication, for speeding up registration of pharmaceuticals through this ground, through this forum. And Russia is giving very great attention to these issues. And in Russia, it takes 1.5 years to register new preparation, and Russia uses very close approach and a lot of coordination for procedures for the composition of the molecule. So that's why we respect Russian partners. But due to some military events, operations of the last years, and some COVID and the COVID period, we have the incentive to unite our efforts. And as for halal products, it's also very important for the Islamic world. And in Turkey, we receive a halal certificate from within the period from half a year to a year. We receive this certificate for a batch or a certain number of products, and in some cases we can receive the certificate for 3 years. And unfortunately, it's not a problem for us, but for certain pharmaceutical companies, there exist certain stages. And if you have halal certificate in one country, in the other country you should certify it again. Get approval for it again, and that's why we want the international community to have somehow unanimous environment for the procedures of certification of the drugs. And we are happy to be here at this forum. We've heard a lot of nice reports relating to production on the territory of Russia, and it's very good. Because we can speak a lot about the difficult times that we are facing now, but still, these are political, some economic aspects. But we see the great development of pharmaceutics in Russia, and we have a lot of good specialists, good teams, companies, but they are probably falling behind in financing or in technical equipment. But because countries abroad have larger and more modern facilities, but the Russian companies develop as well. And I would like to thank you for this session, for participation in this forum. I thank you in my turn for such a detailed answer, and you have just perfect Russian. Thank you very much. I have One more question, and as far as you have covered the last 4 years and the consequences for the mankind, including pandemic and special military operation, which is taking part, which is also influencing the situation. I'd like to ask you about the experience of pandemic, which showed the following fact that the countries which do not have its own resources to produce vaccine are the last in the queue to receive these vaccines for the population. And unfortunately, we've heard such news about European Union. There were scandals and arguments about these cures for the vaccine. So what conclusions have you come to, both for Russia and the whole world? And happily, in Russia, we haven't faced such a problem. COVID has has demonstrated the opportunities of the Turkey, because it was supplying vaccines even to the US, because some of the vaccines were developed by Turkish scientists, and it shows that Turkey is now at a very good level of specialization and expertise for in the pharmaceuticals, very good specialists in drug engineering and so on. And there is a lot of support for scientific researchers. And it wondered me that when we were supplying vaccines with the aircrafts, we were supplying drugs to Russia and Kazakhstan as Turkey closed the borders, but inside the country, all the population was provided with vaccines and with gloves and facial masks in the shopping malls. The population had special control, and all the foreign citizens or representatives of other countries on the territory of Turkey were cured for free. Everything was done for free. And the special services which were involved in offering free aid worked perfectly. And as far as we have an international company, we supervise various international projects, and we speak several languages, and we work in the sphere of health care. And why have we come here? All those associations and the Islamic world and various committees of these countries sometimes need to take decisions very quickly. After today's morning session, some people were coming up to me and told me that Turkey is great, but sometimes it takes much time to solve certain issues. And if you're a producer and you have see the potential of the market, you understand that you need to speed up the process, and there are a lot of Russian producers which want to enter Asian market. To do that, they need to to certify their products, and Turkey somehow is a large international hub which can help entry in foreign markets, and that's why Russia has here very good potential, and we will be eager to help with Russia. And we also are speaking here about the support from the government in Turkey, because not only pharmaceutical companies, a multiple of thousands of them. One of the companies was a private investment. It was $200 million, and we have other samples. We have international laboratories which will give you an opportunity to conduct scientific experiments in order to then produce pharmaceuticals, bioactive supplements and some other stuff. And there is no sense in some small countries to build a production of pharmaceutics, because it will be too expensive. That's why these countries can partially produce these drugs in Turkey, and so the other batch could be produced in Russia, and that will contribute to the development of markets, both in Russia and Turkey. And so this is a very large ground for cooperation. Thank you very much. So I wish everyone success, fruitful work at Kazan Forum. I think
So I guess we'll have something to tell to each other, and we'll think like what common targets we're gonna make. So this was a conference on development of cooperation in the field of pharmaceuticals between Russia and the countries of Islamic world. So Denis Vladimirovich Vinokourov took part in it, Director for International Development of Communication of Chemfarm, a group of companies. So as well, Nikita Velkramovich Punia, Executive Director of Pharmaceuticals Joint Stock Company, and Elgar May Salim, General Director of the pharmaceutical company Galaniki Kingdom of Morocco, and Dr. Munawar Namedi, Director of BM Medical and Pharma from Turkey. So please switch on.
Important that in the organization of Islamic countries, there is no committee dedicated to health. And I think we could use this great opportunity of this meeting to launch this proposition of creating a health committee which will gather all the health professionals and the health authorities in order to get closer and work better on health, on promoting the quality and the manufacturing of drugs, of quality drugs, and also in order to work on the harmonization of quality standards and also the rapprochement of health authorities in order to reach quicker, faster registration of drugs and also quicker registration of companies in order to promote the exchanges between pharma companies of different countries of the Islamic organization. And this is something really we should do, and it would help a lot the population and help a lot the development of our countries.
Yes, it's true. It's very important for us. Thank you.
Спасибо большое. Мунар Мамеди сейчас как раз сказал.
Thank you very much. So Dr. Mamedi mentioned that you're quite right, so it's very important. Yeah, so I'm taking some floor from interpreter. So thank you very much for these precious words, and I hope that they would all come in reality. So, and we will dream about this goal, how to improve the healthcare and to improve and to cure all these incurable diseases in this country. So thank you very much for your time, for your work. So have a lovely day and good luck. So this was Sergei Krasnov, the host of Russia Today. Thank you very much.